The thick, oppressive air of the Louisiana Bayou seemed to cling to every inch of Alma's skin as she trudged through the muck, her lantern casting flickering shadows across the gnarled cypress trees that loomed above. The night was alive with the sounds of unseen creatures, their movements hidden in the murky waters and the dense undergrowth. But it wasn't the wildlife that had lured her here. It was something far more sinister. Alma was a reporter, and the rumors of dark secrets buried in the bayou had drawn her out of New Orleans and deep into the heart of Louisiana's swamps. Stories had circulated for decades about the vanished people, the strange lights seen on foggy nights, and the ghostly whispers that seemed to float on the still waters. Locals called it the curse of the bayou, but Alma was determined to uncover the truth. As she continued her journey, the humid air grew colder. The wind whispered through the trees, forming words she almost understood. She shook off the unsettling sensation and pushed forward, her mind fixed on her destination, an old cabin rumored to be the source of the hauntings. It belonged to an ancient Creole woman named Mama Eloise, a voodoo priestess who had been the center of the community decades ago until she disappeared without a trace. Legend claimed that her spirit still roamed these waters, guarding the secrets of the bayou. Alma's lantern cast an eerie glow as she finally spotted the cabin in the distance. The structure was little more than a skeleton, its wooden planks warped and rotting, windows shattered and empty like the eyes of a long-dead corpse. With each step, Alma could feel the weight of history bearing down on her. As if the bayou itself disapproved of her presence, she reached the door, hand trembling as she pushed it open. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of decay and old, lingering magic. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, their meanings lost to time. An altar stood in the center of the room, covered in melted candles, animal bones, and a small weathered doll with a face made of stitched leather. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her, and Alma spun around, heart racing. She was alone, or so she thought. A soft, almost musical humming began to echo through the cabin, filling her with dread. She strained her ears, trying to determine where it was coming from. It grew louder, and she realized with horror that it was not coming from outside the cabin, but from within. "Who's there?" she demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. The humming stopped, and for a moment, the silence was deafening. Then, a voice like crackling leaves drifted through the darkness. "You don't belong here, child." Alma's heart skipped a beat. She could see no one, but the presence was unmistakable, filling the room with a chilling, suffocating energy. She gripped her lantern tightly, her knuckles white. "I'm here to learn the truth," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "The truth about what happened here, to Mama Eloise." A hollow, mocking laugh echoed through the cabin. "The truth? Some things are not meant for mortal ears, child. Curiosity is a dangerous thing in these parts." The air grew colder still, and Alma could feel the weight of 1,000 unseen eyes upon her. Her skin prickled, and she fought the urge to flee. She had come too far to turn back now. "Please," she whispered, "I just want to understand." A shadow began to coalesce in the corner of the room, twisting and contorting until it took the shape of a woman. Her face was hidden in the shadows, but Alma could make out the tattered dress and the wild hair that framed her spectral form. The figure drifted closer, and Alma felt a chill run down her spine as the ghostly woman spoke. "Understand? No one understands the bayou. It is older than you can imagine, filled with secrets and curses beyond your comprehension. I guarded those secrets in life, and now in death." "Mama Eloise," Alma breathed, finally realizing who was before her. The ghost's form flickered, as if the very mention of her name brought her pain. "The townsfolk feared me, called me a witch. But it was not their hatred that bound me here. It was something darker. There is an evil in these waters, a hunger that feeds on the living. I tried to protect them, but in the end, the bayou took me too." Alma's throat tightened as she listened, her pulse racing with both fear and curiosity. "What? What is it? This evil?" Mama Eloise's face contorted, her eyes hollow and dark as the night outside. "It is a spirit older than memory, a creature born of shadow and swamp. It feeds on the fear and pain of those who venture too deep. It is drawn to those who seek knowledge, who trespass where they do not belong. It is always watching, always waiting. A chill ran down Alma's spine as she felt a presence lurking in the darkness, watching her from the corner of the cabin. She swallowed, struggling to maintain her composure. Can it be stopped? Mama Eloise's laughter was bitter. Stopped? No! It can be appeased, but not stopped. Sacrifice is the only way to keep it at bay. It has always demanded offerings. Those who stray too close, the lost souls who vanish without a trace. They are claimed by the Bayou, taken to satisfy the darkness. The shadows in the cabin seemed to pulse, closing in around Alma. Panic flared in her chest as she realized that she was standing in a place of power, a place where the veil between life and death was thin. Leave, child. Mama Eloise's voice was barely a whisper now, almost pleading. Leave before it claims you too. But as Alma turned to flee, she found herself rooted to the spot, unable to move. The shadows had grown thicker, twisting around her like tendrils, holding her in place. Her heart thundered in her chest as she struggled against the unseen force, but it was no use. She was trapped. The last thing she saw before the darkness consumed her was Mama Eloise's face, a mixture of sorrow and resignation. The spirit had tried to warn her, to protect her, but it was too late. Alma had gone too far, and now she was just another secret swallowed by the Bayou. In the stillness of the swamp, the waters rippled as if stirred by an unseen hand. And then, there was silence. The Bayou lay quiet once more, its dark secrets buried beneath the surface, waiting for the next unfortunate soul who would wander too close to its haunted heart.